What's up, everyone? We just got done installing the CornFed spacer lift on this 2020 TRD Pro. Excuse the messy shop, we just have a lot of projects going on in here. But yeah, it's one that was specifically made for TRD Pros. And unfortunately, I couldn't make the video while doing it. I just didn't have enough hands to do that. But I figured I would give you an overview just so you can get yourself ready for this job. I'll start off with the front, which is a little bit more difficult. Wasn't too bad as long as you have the right tool. I have a wall-mounted spring compressor over there, so I did use that. And essentially, what you have to do is you have to remove the strut assembly. How to do that? I disconnected the sway bar end link over here. As long as you have an air impact, it should be pretty simple. Take that off, take the link out from the knuckle. Then I dropped the whole steering, the sway bar. So there's two 14mm bolts over there. That one was a 17mm bolt. Same thing on this side. Zapped the 17mm off. Took out the 214 for the sway bar. And I kind of just swung the sway bar backwards, okay? It gives you enough room to play around with the sway bar and gives you clearance. And before I did that, I actually did take off this shield. By the way, I forgot to mention that. I believe those are 14s as well. Once I got the sway bar out the way, I popped off the tie rods. And shout out to, I want to say his name is Dustin. Sorry if I got that wrong. But the dude who runs CornFed, he has an iPhone. I FaceTimed him and he really helped me out. Told me how to do this in an easier way because I was kind of confused about this portion, but I'll get to that. So yeah, 19mm over here. There was a lot of rust here, surprisingly, for this cartridge being a year old. But that's why you see I put a lot of anti-seize everywhere, just so hopefully it doesn't happen again. But took the little cotter pin off. This was a 19mm, zapped it off with the air impact. Then I had to hit it here with the hammer so I could pop this off. Never hit on the stud, otherwise it'll mushroom out your threads and you have to get a new outer tie rod. So hit here with the hammer a bunch of times so that pops off. And then I got enough clearance to take off the shock absorber or the strut. Zap this off, and we'll talk about this later because this is why I'm making this video, to make this part easier for you. 19mm here, took the through bolt out, and then the three 14mm on top. I just used a ratchet wrench and got those three out, 1, 2, and 3. Now, something important to note before taking your strut assembly out. This TRD Pro logo here, and if you look on the bottom over there, essentially that should be straight and parallel with this TRD Pro logo. You come up, the TRD Pro logo on the spring should also be parallel with that. And then on top of the spracer, you want to be dead center with these two bolts right there. And the back one should be parallel with that. This was from Toyota. I actually didn't make that mark, but I feel like that was a centering mark from Toyota as well, which kind of helped me out. I would have made that mark with my pen if that wasn't already there. But if you see, all that should be parallel when putting this back together. Once you know that, this makes it much easier. Essentially, once you get the strut off, you're gonna hold the top of this with a 8mm and then use a 17mm to ratchet. I use a ratcheting wrench on that, then put the 8mm over. Once this was all compressed, I took off that bolt. This washer and bushing came off, and then obviously the whole top hat came off. I was having problems with this at first, and this is where Dustin or whatever his name was, again, I apologize for not remembering the name, but this is where he came in handy because you have to take off your dust cover. You cannot use that dust cover. I couldn't get everything to line up again, but once I got the dust cover off, everything went back in just how it came off. It's pretty straight and simple. Got that back tightened up. I didn't really torque it down. I just kept on going until I felt like it was tight. Remember, when you're tightening this all up, make sure that everything stays lined up because once you let go of the spring tension, you cannot move this stuff. So I tightened this up, then I lined everything up, and then I got rid of the spring tension and everything stayed aligned. The last thing I wanted to mention, this is what we struggled with for an hour before I said, screw it, I'm gonna do this next step. Lining this up when putting it all back together, especially with the more tension you have with that spacer. And the other spacer, by the way, goes right on top. So the thin spacer goes in between the shock mount and the frame. And then this spacer is what's actually coming in between your spring and your shock mount when you disassemble everything. But when putting this back on, you have to just pull down on the control arm, try to get everything lined up. But even with 2 people, 3 people, it's not gonna happen. Even with pry bars, as you can see, like pry bar slipped and ripped our axle boot, so we have to use some shoe glue to fix that up. And if it leaks, we'll just replace the axle. No big deal. We saved $800 installing this ourselves anyways. But we just messed with it for an hour. What I eventually ended up doing was taking this cotter pin off and just zapping off this 19mm holding the upper control arm to the knuckle. Again, hammered it until these separated. And then once the knuckle was freed up from the upper control arm, it was billion times easier to line this up. Now, the reason why this bolt looks weird was because when we were trying to put it in, the few front threads got cross-threaded and Toyota didn't have one in stock. So I just took my grinder or my cutoff wheel and cut it off and did this temporarily till we got a new bolt so we could drive this car. But save yourself the headache when installing this back together. Just zap the upper control arm off, get yourself some motion, have one person kind of push down, one person line that up, and it easily goes through. All right, so that was probably the hardest thing about this job. Now that I all did it, I could probably do this job in about an hour, hour and a half, start to finish, because I know what I'm doing now. So that's a big tip to help you out. And that's the front installation. That's pretty much all there is to it. Everything, when you put it back together, make sure to use anti-seize, torque everything to spec. My torque specs are a few ugga-duggas, but I just have a feel for all that stuff. So that was the front. For the rear was pretty simple. You just need a few people to help you out with it. You can see the spacer all the way on top, kind of. It's between the upper frame area and the top of the spring. So I guess you can't really see it right now, but it's there. It was about a 2-inch lift. To do the back, what you have to do is essentially disconnect the sway bar again. So 14-14, 14-14. That frees up your sway bar and moves it out of the way. I don't think I took these links off. Yeah, I don't think I did from what I remember. All right, and that kind of gives your rear axle some movement. Then what you gotta do is add some jacks to the bottom, the little jack stands, or if you're doing this on the ground, whatever you gotta use. I put one right here, put one right here. I then took off this shock bolt. I believe it looks like a 17, maybe a 19. But I took that off, took a little pry bar, slid the shock off, and that pretty much freed up my rear end a lot, okay? I did this one side at a time. I then moved the jack over, kind of had one person swing down on this, and then pull the spring out, I believe, up and out that way. Yes, yeah. I kind of like pulled it either this way or I pushed it that way. I forgot which way I went. I might have pushed that way, actually. And then the spring pretty much just came off. The spacer comes with this nice little bolt screw looking thing. You just pretty much bolt up the spacer on top. The instructions are really set and clear on that. It was really easy. And then you just put it back on. Obviously putting it back on with the spacer is a little bit more difficult because you now have a 2-inch spacer. But again, just pull down as much as you can. Sneak it up. I had a problem with the lift where my lift arm was actually making this control arm not move. So I just kind of repositioned this on the frame and got enough motion. So keep an eye out for that to save yourself some time. And then repeat that on the other side. All right, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Then bring it back up, put the shock bolt on, torque that up. I forgot the torque spec because I did this one like last week. Sway bar goes back on and the job is done. So if there's any other questions, if there's something I forgot and you're stuck on, please just comment below. I would love to help you on it. We're about to put the wheels back on this thing, bring it down, and let's see how it looks. I know the back looked really nice with the lift, but obviously it was uneven because I didn't do the front. So, by the way, on a side note, the bolts for the skid plate from the factory come like stripped. So this is a 10 by 1.25 millimeter die. I'm just chasing down all those bolts, and then with the tap, I'm gonna chase down the threads. Put anti-seize because they like feel really crappy when taking them off. So if you want to do that, just a nice little tip. It definitely got higher in the front now. Before the back, with the back lift, it looked a little higher from the back, but it looked awkward without the front lift. Now it just looks much higher. These tires look small now. Luckily we have spacers on them. Tomorrow we're gonna get some bigger tires, I think 285s he's putting on there. So we'll see how that looks, but overall, the lift kit looks really sweet. I wouldn't recommend doing it with the stock tires though. As you can tell, it looks like a little baby truck. Ooh, that looks sweet. So I'll probably have this video before we get the tires on. But stay tuned, I'm gonna make another video. By the way, if you wanna see the stock height, I'll link the video I originally made when we first bought this car a year ago. I'm now gonna make another video showing the, you know, like 1 year difference, stock versus now, which includes a bunch of stuff. So stay tuned for that video as well. That will have the larger size tires on there. And this is it with the lift and tires. You see the tires added a few inches, and with the spacers, just overall I feel like the stance is amazing on this car now with the roof rack. It makes it look like a different car. Kind of makes it look like it's ready to do stuff. I don't know, kind of looks like a safari-ish, or I don't even know what you would call that, but it came out awesome. So highly recommend getting the spacer lift, especially if you're gonna get new tires. I think you absolutely need it. And these are the Continentals? No, the Cooper Evolutions. There, but yeah, this was again CornFed lift. Hope this video helped you. If you have any suggestions, want to know anything again with the installer, you're having any issues, comment it below. I always usually check my comments. And yeah, until next time, catch you. Peace.